Before everyone comes in today, got a lot going on. Ooh, this color is nuts. Makes my face look all washed out. By far, the hardest thing about making teacher vlogs is not being able to show what happens in school all day, right? So there's like a ton of moments that you just don't even know what's going to happen, which is like all of teaching is like you think what's going to happen during the day is going to happen, and then it gets curtailed for one reason or another. Even just the lesson. I can't just walk around with a camera and record all of the kids and put all of their thoughts and feelings and ideas out into the world because they're kids. 3 really good things have happened in the last 2 days, and I'm just gonna go over them real quick. Number 1, there's a lot of talk around 13 Reasons Why, this new show that's on Netflix. It was a book and that got turned into a Netflix show. Kids are all talking about it, which is kind of funny because I had the book in my room for a while. None of my teenage boys wanted to read it. Now everyone's really interested because it's a show and because it's picking up traction and everyone's talking about this show. We had this really good conversation yesterday about what the show is about. So the show, if you've not seen it, is about a girl who commits suicide and then the repercussions of that afterwards. She assigns blame to like these 13 different people that she says had something to do with it, and then the show goes on from there. There's a lot of conversation, good and bad, about this show. For me, it's been excellent because it has my students talking about things that maybe they wouldn't otherwise talk about. The thing that bothers me about the show and about this topic is there's so much we can do as teachers to sort of stop this sort of thing. And I'm not putting all the onus on teachers. I'm not blaming teachers for not getting out there. I know a lot of you guys like are doing great jobs. And I know a lot of you that are still in school like plan on like really connecting with kids and knowing who they are and being able to see some of these things before they happen. And I realize that like you don't always know that it's gonna happen, right? Kids make bad decisions. Kids make spur of the moment, desperate decisions. I'm not trying to either blame anyone for that or make light of it. But what I do know is that a lot of times as teachers, we see kids that are either getting bullied, kids that are getting picked on, kids that are having a hard time and we don't know what's going on with them, kids that look depressed, kids that have no friends, kids that sit by themselves in the lunchroom. You know, what that show made me think of and what my conversation with my students made me think of so much yesterday was it reminded me why it's important to eat lunch with kids. Like, or say what's up to someone, or just in that class that you have that's complete madness, where no one respects you and no one's listening to you, because I've taught that class, right? Don't let the vlog fool you. Don't let the videos fool you that like I don't have a bad day or a bad year or a bad 2 years. Like it happens to everyone. Even in those classes, I think it's even more important to not just let the kids with the loud personalities and the discipline issues take over the class. It's so important to just go around however often you can do it, put your hand on someone's shoulder and let them know that you see them. Even if it's just that. I have a class this year that's kind of nuts. And we work through it every day, but there's a couple of guys in there that are super quiet that I just make it a point to just walk over every once in a while and let them know the truth. Man, I see you. I think you're a great kid. I think you're doing great stuff. And I realize I don't always get the time to come over and say what's up to you. So I just want you to know that that's the deal. I just think that can mean the world to kids and can let kids know. I just want you to know you can talk to me and I care about you. That was one thing. Today, we are working on imagery in class. Imagery is a literary term meaning how a narrator or author kind of creates a space within your mind, right? So they help you to see things, smell things, taste things, touch things, and hear things. Is that the last one? We did 2 quick things. One, did this exercise where I had kids imagine a park and I read a couple of lines that would help them to imagine the park and see what they would smell, taste, touch, hear, and that was kind of cool. The thing that worked out even better that I didn't think was gonna work at all was we listened to a poem by my friend Derrick Brown. Derrick wrote a poem called A Finger, Two Dots, and Me. That is one of my favorite poems of all time. And so I had the students move themselves around the room. They were allowed to lay on the floor if they wanted to, put their head down on a desk, lay on the couch, lay on a bench, lay on the windowsill, wherever they wanted. And their job was to be quiet, not touch anyone, and not fall asleep. That was it. Those are your 3 rules. To just take in the poem and see what sort of imagery it conjured up in you, what word or phrase or image stuck with you as you were listening to it. Sometimes I'll come up with ideas, or my co-teacher and I will come up with ideas, and you just don't know if it's gonna work. Man, that sun is glaring on me. Whatever. Look, man, I don't have time for lighting and stuff. Now I got this weird light going across my face, looks like a laser beam. there's a car outside and the light is hitting the windshield. It's bouncing off into the room. So anyway, if you're distracted, I don't know, get a fidget spinner. This is kind of what it looked like.
And at that moment, the planets begin to spin and awaken. And large movie screens appear on Mars, Saturn, and Venus, each bearing the images I have witnessed throughout my life. And over each and every single clip flashes the word holy. Armadillos, holy. Cows' tongues, holy. Magic tricks, holy. Snowballs upside the head, clumsy first kisses.
And it was really great, like kids connecting things to like when their aunt died or their mom was sick or their dad really spoke to them one day, or what space might be like in deep reaches of space. And it was just a cool exercise. Not every class will do that lesson today. There's some classes where I just know that people laying around are gonna end up touching each other, but largely it went way better than I could have hoped for. Sometimes the lessons that I think are going to work the best suck, and sometimes the lessons that I'm kind of nervous about end up ruling, and that's the thing that like the kids remember next year is, hey, remember that time we laid all over the floor in your classroom and listened to that guy? Third thing that happened today, I have a guy coming in. Conrad Benner has an Instagram account with like this one right here with over 140,000 people that follow him, and what he does is he goes around Philadelphia, he finds street art, and then he lets people know, like, this is the artist, this is where you can find this piece, this is where, if it's a series of pieces, you can find them in all of these different locations. And so I'm gonna have him come in today and talk to my guys about it a little bit. Then I think that's it. Kids are barging down my door. I wanna know if you are a student, who's the best speaker that ever came to your class or to your school to talk? What did they talk about? What was their deal? And if you're a teacher, who's the best person you ever had come in? What was the best speaker that either came into your individual classroom or to an auditorium and talked when you were a student or as a teacher? I would love to know those just to kind of give me some ideas. And I love commenting with people in the comment section below. So thanks so much for doing that. They're coming in. I gotta get out of here. Thanks guys. Peace.